Well, greetings, salutations, folks. We are doing an impromptu stream tonight. Myself, Wes Moody. We're doing the Moody Heretic Webcast, Volume 2. And we will see where the night takes us. We're doing the same thing everyone else is, and that is we are quarantined in. We are making the best of it, and I'm assuming that just like most of everybody, we're looking for things to do. So what better thing to do than go live, especially when you can't sleep. So that's what's going on here, and and it's always fun because when you get myself and Wes together, well, crazy things are bound to normally happen. So welcome on in. It's great to see viewers at this late hour. I know it's midnight on the West Coast, 3 a.m. here in wonderful Ohio. So thank you for spending your early morning with us. So, first thing on the slate, how is everyone and how are you spending your quarantine? So, share your quarantine stories in the chat if you would like, and we'd be happy to read some of those. And I'd like to
the chat.
Welcome Wes on in. Again, it's great to have him, and I was saying, Wes, every time that we stream together, it's always quality. So,
absolutely. So yeah, folks, let us know how you're handling the quarantine. I will say for myself, I think this is a time more crucial than others as time goes on, that we build those important networks with like-minded folks, folks that have good hearts, strong minds, and that I know that for some, before we get there, that there are people compounds and arm them and panic, but we don't want to. We need to keep level heads, and we need to support one another.
Yeah, the best thing to do is to remember to exercise common sense during this time. That's the biggest thing in a nutshell. Yep. Your microphone was kind of doing the robot thing. You went in and out there, Wes. But yeah, the biggest thing is to exercise common sense. Obviously with the supply chain woes and things like that, one of the things obviously is when you shop, just buy the things that you need. And there we go.
About that. My internet back.
Yeah, I was just to say we had two of you for a second, double vision. But I was just saying, man, exercising common sense will go a long way during this thing, and it's simply because you take, for example, the stuff that's going on with the supply chain. Well, don't be an idiot and hoard. There's nothing that you really have to hoard, to be honest. I mean, you could go to the supermarket get the stuff that you need, make sure you have about a week and a half's worth, and you're good. And then go back the week and a half later and get the stuff you need for next week and a half. I mean, it's not hard, and people seem to have forgotten that. We've got these people that go on these buying sprees like a fucking tsunami happened or something, and it's like it's a goddamn it's a goddamn virus. It's not a tsunami. So shop accordingly. I mean, my God, and that's what I think. People are just stupid and ill prepared.
I think there's an overabundance of corned beef and hash right now. Yep.
Well, yeah, it's like Jesus, dude. I don't get it. And just the stupidity that I've seen, like, my God, dude. Let me tell you about quarantine Twitter. Jesus Christ. The overabundance of fucking stupidity on Twitter that I've seen, dude. Oh, Jesus Christ. Between the celebrities sitting home crying, or let's do a fucking kumbaya circle and sing, or hey, let me give you my advice. So it's like, no, I don't need your fucking advice.
Yeah, thanks for the advice while you're sitting in your $10 million mansion, asshole.
Yeah, I don't need your advice when you were giving me out of touch fucking rhetoric about my goddamn choices in in voting, and I don't need your advice now. I mean, I can make it through this just fine without your fucking advice. It's like, my goodness, dude. The Hollywood continues to just prove itself to be the ultimate in ignorance. So
sure.
I love the crazy celebs, but even more than that, it's just like, dude, I see some of these fucking idiot, like I don't know, I guess fucking Zoomers or whatever, and doing these stupid ass fucking challenges. Some other kid licked a fucking toilet, and they actually popped him this time. The fucking kid that licked the toilet, yeah, he got busted by the fucking FBI. They didn't fuck with him, man. They busted him, dude, and charged him with inciting panic and terrorist threats. That kid's done.
Dumbass.
OG Star Wars. Hello, Alora. It's good to see you, my dear. We were just on here discussing what's going on during the quarantine and everything else, and the stupidity of people. Which, Alora, I know that you watch Twitter, and I know that you've seen the stupidity abounding on Twitter, whether it be by celebrities or whether it be by stupid Gen Zers doing dumb things during this time. And there is no shortage of stupidity floating around the world. So I am thankful for your presence here because, OG Star Wars, by the way, big shout out to her. One of my very, very, very wonderful and gracious people in my life that I've come to become very, very close with, and she's amazing, and amazing human. She has amazing YouTube content, and she's just overall one of the most remarkable and talented women that I've met in life, and I'm very proud to say that she's very special to me. So, props to you, my friend. And
welcome, OG Star Wars.
Yeah, but my God, Wes, this coronavirus challenge stuff on Twitter, it's so stupid. Like, what the hell, man? I remember doing dumb stuff when we were young, but my
Mm-hmm.
God, man, the things that people do, like for internet clout, it's just why, dude. I ask myself all the time, why?
Wreck a car and blow up an engine like a normal person.
Licking toilets?
Yeah, right.
Like, who does that? That's like something, when you got bullied in school, people made you lick toilets. The
Yeah,
hell?
they'd like they'd grab you by the one of your belt loops and put your head in the toilet, and it'd be
Yeah.
all bad. Now
My
people are
God.
just like, oh, I love licking toilets. No, yeah. What?
Like what in the world? Oh, Jesus, man. And then these brilliant wonders of humanity that went on spring break. It's like, are you kidding me right now? I like, why would you, in the middle of a friggin' pandemic, go on spring break? There is nothing that says that, hey, I'm going to have a great spring break, great time, than going to a beach in the middle of a pandemic. Because, sure, nothing bad could happen, right?
Maybe they think that herpes is the cure to coronavirus. I don't know.
Oh, good God, dude. I'm telling you, and these are the people that are going to follow us in being the stewards of humanity. Think
Well,
about that.
I've got a little bit more faith in Gen Z than the millennials, but we'll see. That's
Well, no, the millennials are like the 30 somethings that are like kind of like just, you know, they're starting to level out a little bit maybe. The
yeah, I think so.
the Zoomers are the ones that are acting a fool right now.
Damn kids.
And it's like,
Well,
geez,
yep. It's just reckless youth. It's I guess it is. I mean, horny teenagers, and that's what's going on. But yeah, you kids could end up
I
dead.
mean,
So
look, I
don't.
I understand. I understand wanting to have a spring break. I do. I mean, there's two things that when you're in your youth that you want big time. That's when you're a high school senior, you want your prom. When you're in college, you want to hit that spring break. I get it. It's great, but these are not normal times. These are not normal circumstances, and that's what I say. I mean, this is a serious like crisis at the moment. It's not like you can just plug your ears and put your head in the sand and say everything's all right. It's not like that meme of that fucking animated dog sitting at the table and everything's burning around him and he's like, this is fine. It's really not. It really isn't. So you have to kind of go by the guidelines because most of them are common sense. Practicing the social distancing right now and doing what you can to stay away from possibly infected individuals. It's you have to.
Mhm.
You
Or
have
being
to.
asymptomatic and infecting other people.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's our. I think they've not done a good job of describing because there are some people out there that still think this is like a bad flu, and it is not. It is. It's very different from the flu. It's how deep, Drew. It's because it gets graphic if we go into
Well,
it.
well, I put it this way, Wes. Anything that's going to kill me, I tend to take pretty serious. I mean,
Yeah.
if
Hmm.
a, if a if a possible consequence is death, then I'm listening. because I really enjoy being alive. So, I tend to take that rather seriously.
Well, yeah, for
And
the time
and,
being,
uh, and you
you
would
know.
you would think, most humans would take that seriously.
Well, yeah, you would. So yeah, it's not the flu. This virus can kill people, and it's very serious. And I'm not going to go into the details, but you can find them if you look into what's happening in New Orleans right now. You can find the doctors on the front line where there's an epidemic right now. A respiratory, I forget what they call him, respiratory specialist. He leaked and did an interview to let people know what was happening. Did not give his name, but it's very serious what's happening, and it's not just affecting older people. It's affecting people that are seemingly healthy people. It's a real problem. So
Well, yeah, and the thing is, Wes, is this is one of those things where you can't just like slough it off or slog through it. It's just not one of those. I mean,
yeah,
this could take even um, a person that by all accounts is healthy and render them near death. I
yep,
mean, it's no joke.
it's
Like
not.
I said, I could go down a whole nother rabbit hole because the way that this acts, trust me, I tend to lean on the theory, and a lot of people know that I lean on the theory that this was, you know, uh, a bioweapon that was engineered. But that's just
I
me.
share that opinion.
Okay.
I share that opinion. So
Awesome.
yes, but yeah. So I mean, regardless of what you think about that, it can go to healthy people. And here's the thing: so they're talking a lot about respirators right now, and I think you should pay attention to that because if it gets to the point where you need a respirator, 40%, okay, you've got a 40% chance of dying, a 60% chance of living. Well, but what does your life look like after being on a respirator? And the answer is not good because when you get to the point where you need a respirator, they have to crank these things up to 90% to get you the oxygen you need to keep you alive. Your lungs are filled with fluid, they're filled with blood, and at that level, it can rupture, it can damage your lungs. And so even if you live through that, the rest of your life is going to be very different than your life before that.
Oh
So
yeah,
I think
I've
that's
heard the accounts of people that survived, and they're in, and they have lasting lung damage, and it's like, I mean, dude, it's crazy, but see, that's what I said. You've got foolhardy people that don't take all this into account, and they're just like,
mhm.
la di da, I'm gonna go sashay my ass out in public, and and that's and they just throw caution to the wind. Uh, Alformo Doritos, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Up in. I know you're a graveyard shifter. You pop in on the late nights on folks' channel, and that's good. I
Hail
see it
El
all over.
Formo Doritos.
So thank you for dropping that like too. You're awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So yeah, I see your comment there, Al Formo Doritos, and
Yeah.
yes, I share your concerns. That seems to be a problem right now. But it's really important that we get this information out there because it's like, oh, because our leaders are not giving us the real scoop on what's happening.
Well, see, and that's the thing, man. You can hear it from official people all day, but when actual you know ordinary everyday people talk about it, and
Mm-hmm.
just drop some knowledge, kick some facts out there, some people tend to listen to that resonates more with them, and hey, I get it. It's just you got to take this shit more serious. And there's, like I said, there just when I see the asinine videos on Twitter, stuff like that, it's just like, oh god, it's just like, man, I'm not telling people to go full bore, you know, go to condition one, I'm gonna die type of thing, but man, you gotta have some fucking awareness.
Yeah, gloves, 6 feet distance, not going out and fraternizing. Man, I'm seeing people letting their kids out, play with other kids, and people just like taking the whole family to the grocery store. And you know what? That's very bad. Don't do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Have the groceries delivered.
grab a quick refill on the coffee. You know, you can put the stream on your shoulders for a second there, Wes.
All right, I'll take it away then. So yeah, folks, this is worse than what's being reported. They're not wanting to tell you exactly what's happening to the people that get the coronavirus. They're saying that it's older people that are suffering mainly, but there's been a letter that's been released on, I think it's motherjones.com, that that talks about the epidemic that hit New Orleans very hard, and what's happening there, and exactly what's happening with the patients, how the hospital is being overwhelmed, and the symptoms of a person that gets coronavirus. And it's not the flu; it's worse than the flu, and so it's much more contagious than the flu too, which is a very big concern. So you need to stay 6 feet away from people for a while, and you need to wash your hands frequently if you don't have gloves. If you have gloves, you need to be changing those things very rapidly, very rapidly. Depending on how much contact you have, but quite frequently. And so it's it, and I don't want to alarm anyone, and don't panic. Do not panic. But it's a very serious situation, and I don't think our leaders have been, for them, they have to exude confidence, and so I will give President Trump credit for closing the borders when he did, because it could have been much worse. But there's this movie Contagion, and if you watch the movie Contagion,
All right.
it plays out very similar to what's happening now. So
Ugh.
yeah, I was just chatting with the folks, and I was saying that the movie Contagion um, gives a pretty good roadmap of what's happening right now with this pandemic. Have you seen Contagion?
Oh yeah, it really does.
Yeah, it's basically exactly what's happening right now. So it's I don't want to alarm anyone, but be vigilant, be safe. The social distancing, that is crucial. And and it's funny because all this stuff was in the movie, about people like, oh yeah, whatever, haha. No, 6 feet, and be vigilant. Wash your hands and stay inside as much as you can. So hopefully, if you do that, we'll get over it sooner rather than later.
The one thing
You
that
know,
sucks though, man, is the Starbucks around the corner from me was a casualty of the closures right now, and it's like, God, I could have went for a Starbucks.
yeah, I hear you. Well, pizza's better, but
Oh yeah, I can still get pizza here and there.
yeah, I think cold brew's a little better. I'm running out of coffee grounds myself, so I'm gonna have to get some. I do a cold brew, but yeah, it's Yeah, man, that's pretty rough. I gotta have coffee. If I don't have coffee, I'm just like I'm a different person. I'm just like, "Rah."
Yeah,
Other
I know,
people.
man. Um, I've just been making coffee at home. We
Yeah,
have this grocery chain called Meyer up here, and Meyer makes a really good store brand blend of coffee called Michigan Cherry. It has a cherry flavor to it,
ooh, yum.
and it's really tasty. So I make a pot of that, and it's great.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, not having coffee. I gotta have coffee. So it's. I try to stock up whenever I can, but the when you're
Yeah,
doing cold brew, it takes a little bit more grounds, I think, to make cold brew than it does a normal pot of coffee.
yeah.
And then you have to let it soak overnight. But it's it has a different flavor. I like cold brew.
No, there you go, man. That's the way to do it. So, so by the way, guys, we are not going to just sit here and endlessly talk about the elephant in the room because I know it is, and it's what we're going through. We're actually going to talk about Star Trek Picard here in a little bit, and and speculate on the crazy ending and also the fact that they're now giving it away because it's so bad.
Hashtag Star Trek free card. That's what I call
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, if you want to watch Picard right now, go ahead and you could go to, I guess, CBS All Access and type in the code word gift, and you get access to it. But I won't be doing that because I I wouldn't watch CBS All Access if they paid me.
Yep, I can get Picard. Well, I've already got free access, so
Same.
yeah. But yeah, we're about 24 hours away from a drop. And oh my god, it's so bad.
Oh God, yeah.
Got like fucking they weren't even orchids. First of all, those were like and what was going on in that writer's room?
So
So awful. So yeah,
so being a fan of both fandoms, I didn't think anything was going to eclipse the absolute stupidity in writing for a while that has been Star Wars. And then, of course, Star Trek Discovery came along. And then after that, Star Trek Picard came along. And
yep.
combined, both of those shows have eclipsed the stupidity of Star Wars. And that was, wow, that was hard to do. And it's just like, my goodness. You know, again, big shout out to OG Star Wars because thank God for her content. It keeps me sane as a Star Wars
Yeah.
fan. But yeah, the stuff with Star Trek. I mean, dude, like space flowers, really? And they can bring down ships? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, oh my god. Then so we spent 9 episodes to find out that the Borg cube, the whole purpose of the Borg storyline was so that they would have long-range sensors so that we would know that 218 Romulan ships were coming. But it's like, what the fuck? Oh my. You brought back Hugh so you could kill Hugh. Oh my. Oh god. Oh,
And don't
so bad.
forget Wasted Echeb.
Yeah, the torture porn. Yeah. Oh, I love you. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, seven of nine has been wasted too. She's like, first of all, what the fuck is a Fentress Ranger? That's so dumb.
No, I don't know which way this finale can really go. And I'm calling it right now, dude, because it's so obvious to me. And I'm about to drop a spoiler, you guys. So I hope you don't care about being spoiled, but I'm going to drop the spoiler. All right. So here we go. Spoiler alert. So in this last episode, in part one of this final finale to the season, there is laying on a table in a lab I guess what they call a golem body, whatever, of an android that is waiting for a human consciousness to be downloaded in there. How much do you want to bet that Picard is going to be dying, and to save him, they're going to download his consciousness into that android?
Yep.
I can't see that coming from a mile away.
Well, you're giving them a lot of credit, though. You're thinking they're going to be smart enough to do that. I think what we're going to get is that is going to be another one of those plot points that is abandoned. And we're going to get a huge schlock fest, a space battle between the Romulan fleet, the Federation fleet, and the Borg fleet, and the Synth fleet, the AI fleet. And the Federation loses, and that sets up Discovery Season 3. Oh my god. And that's why the Federation doesn't exist. You're chasing ghosts, Michael Burnham. And Michael Burnham has to save everything.
See, now Michael Wolff agrees with my point on that. He thinks that they want to get a new actor to play Picard. Now, I go along that same line of thinking, Michael Wolff, because, I don't think that they want to pay Stewart for a second run of that.
Whoa. Well, I mean, that would also be colossally stupid, so that could very well be true. If they tried to get some other actor to play Picard, what are they going to make Picard like the fucking Doctor from Doctor Who now? He just lives on forever and gets different regenerations in different bodies. Oh my god!
Well, yeah, they put his consciousness in android. He's essentially immortal.
That would be wow. That would be even worse than what I imagined. That's really bad. That's even more canon destroying than wow. See, I hadn't even considered that because that would be so unfathomable to me for them to do that.
Well, they would rip off everything, Wes. Why not rip off Doctor Who? Why not at this point? I mean, that's their MO.
Holy crap. What actor would they get to play Picard?
Oh, I don't know. Whoever was cheap, or Michael Wolff brings up a good point here. Look, let's highlight his comment. Michael Wolff says, "What's the chance it's a woman's body?" Oh God, that'd be even better.
Picardette.
Oh jeez, oh man.
Oh man, I could just picture some big-titted woman with a Gallagher-esque haircut with one of those hats with the hair on it,
Oh no, it would be the opposite. It would be like somebody androgynous looking with a bowl cut.
Oh jeez. Man, horrible. Boy, I was already kind of bummed about that, but now you've given me something else to think about. And holy shit, man, that's even worse than I had even imagined.
I know, isn't it? But I mean, it's just a theory, And Mikhail Wolf says, "Have I broken you, Wes?"
I think you may have, Mikhail Wolf, or I think that I've been
We
broken.
both did, Mikhail Wolf. We broke Wes.
I can't even like mind blown emoji. That's
He
it's
wants to
too
he wants
much.
to bleach his mind now.
I do. I think I might want to drink some bleach. It's really bad.
Oh God.
Oh man, female Picard, and you know because it's an android that female Picard would be a complete slut, of course, obviously. So, God,
Well,
no.
no, it would be what, fully functional,
Yep, fully
or
functional, programmed in multiple techniques.
or no. Here's the thing though too. Obviously that new character would be like a super Mary Sue because it'd be a Picard android, so it would uh, be great at everything right off the bat.
Man, if they get Jodie Whittaker to play female Picard, wow.
Oh God. Oh God, man. You know. Oh God.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be real bad. Holy shit! What kind of cannon breaking bullshit are we gonna get this time?
Well, look. There is now. We could go down the other fork in the road because there is another theory that they could take that, and if I don't know. I don't know, Sung the fifth or whatever number Sung they're on now that Brent Spiner's playing.
Yep.
Um, Maybe he could get downloaded into the body, and it would be like resurrecting Data.
Hmm. Well, that would be similar to the season 2 episode, the Schizoid Man, where Ira Graves, Data's grandpa, inhabited Data and then the computer. And that would mean that they were actually homage in Star Trek, but we can rule that out with these writers, so that wouldn't happen.
Right. And
Yeah.
and that's why I'm thinking too logically on that one. But I don't know. Like at this point, we know that soon Picard's going to die.
Mm-hmm.
They're just waiting for that part. That's coming. We already know that's coming. So if it doesn't happen in this next episode, then it's going to happen in the first probably 4 episodes of season 2. Because I don't think they're keeping Patrick Stewart on for a whole season.
Oh
Again,
no, of course not.
yeah, no way.
I say kill him in the most gruesome and disrespectful manner possible. At this point, I don't know. They're dropping everything. You have Discovery 900 years in the future. Why not kill Picard in the series named Star Trek Picard? Why not?
Well, after Patrick Stewart pushed for this show, I am actually rooting for him to get killed off in a gruesome and disrespectful way.
Oh yeah, man. Recast him, put him in a wheelchair like Captain Pike, just like have a head sticking out with lots of prosthetic makeup and beep once, beep twice. Do it. Why not? Do it. Or better yet, homage Star Wars, Solo, and plug him in and have him be the computer for the La Serena.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, but the most obvious glaring thing is, I swear, this is me and Mikhail think the same way. I'm just betting that it's going to be that, they have to race against time before Picard dies to download his consciousness into the android.
That would be really bad. But really bad is what these people do, so I wouldn't doubt it.
I'm calling it, brother. I hope I'm wrong.
R.I.P. Picard.
I really hope that at some point, I mean, God, something's got to give. Why does Sherry Redstone? She has to step in.
Supposedly in May she does.
Well, she got to step in and do something because, I mean, this is just taking Star Trek like completely off the rails, and it's just good God, man. Yeah, Mikhail Wolf and I are putting our bets down. We say that's going to happen. Oh God. I just know I can't wait for that show to be over with, because ever since I think probably episode I'd be lying if I didn't say probably 15 minutes into the first episode I was hate watching at that point.
Yeah, I think that's where I was at on.
So I've been hate watching this whole series.
Everybody talks down to him. He's an idiot. It's all his fault. You occasionally start flashes of TNG Picard, and then it'd be undercut. Even like with episode 5, when Deanna Troy's like, "It's all your fault, Picard." Like, oh fuck, great! Right when we started to get a good Picard speech.
And Admiral's sheer fucking hubris, don't forget.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up, Picard. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, Jesus.
Look, man, Logan was great. I mean, Logan's not a good rewatch movie, but I mean, it's really sad. But that was, I think, an Oscar award. I mean, oh, man, that was good writing.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
is not good right. This is like, holy shit. Especially if you look at episode 3,
Well, that's
where he met.
See,
where he met Rafi. I mean, holy shit!
Oh God, dude!
In your chateau, Picard. And he's
that was the worst. That was the worst stereotyping ever, dude. That was the most disrespectful and worst stereotyping ever for a backstory for a character. I mean, my God. Like, how do you seriously do that? Like, the first, you're introducing this character, but you completely stereotype her, put her in the ghetto, and make her freaking, addicted to crack, essentially. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yep. And they thought they were being cool or edgy or something. It was ridiculous.
I mean, what the hell? Why would you do that? That's the worst stereotype. And then you just bury her because, like, my God, and she goes over to when they're on Free Cloud or whatever, and they go to she goes to like the Planned Parenthood clinic or whatever, and it sees her kid, and it's like, her kid's estranged because he got up out the ghetto and didn't want to see his mom, and she didn't have no time for him. Like, what? Are you kidding me?
Well, that was the one scene I could at least relate to on a personal level, having experienced family members in that scenario. Conspiracies, how long you been up, lady, right? Like,
Yeah, I understand
yeah,
that.
here, mom, back off.
I understand that part, but
Is what the
still,
scene said.
like it's a horrible stereotype for her
Yeah, as a
character.
stereotype, yeah. Yeah, and then like, getting her all liquored up to talk to the captain, the other captain to get Picard his credentials, like she wouldn't know what was going on or something.
What the? Yeah. I mean,
Haven't
are
you
you
been living in a
serious?
trailer park? Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
My
she's
goodness, dude.
yeah, she's a bad character, very bad. Oh God, yeah. I've heard people say that she's a great actress and that they like her in other things, but
I got no. Listen, there's certain parts where Rafi does stand out in a positive way, but the thing is that they've wrote her character so shitty. They've given her such a shitty backstory surrounding her. Now, if they would have just stuck to the nitty gritty that she was a former Starfleet officer, maybe she fell on some relatively hard times, but she wouldn't be like destitute in the ghetto. I mean, that's fine. The fact that she was a
I'm pretty
former
sure
Starfleet officer is good enough.
yeah, exactly. I'm pretty, you know, um, Starfleet VAs she could have gone to get some assistance.
Well, yeah,
So
and that's what I'm saying. Geez, when they introduced characters, at least in Star Trek before, they had backstories and stuff, but they didn't like do it in that way. They showed that they were officers or whatever, and that was good enough.
yeah, let's take Tasha Yar, for example. She came from a failed colony with rape gangs. It was a failed colony, very much kind of the dystopian stuff they're trying to pass off in Picard. But she overcame all of that, and she found her new family, and it was a positive, growth experience for Tasha Yar. As where Rafi, it's like, oh man, I I feel like they were trying to do that, but it didn't work out.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
and they leaned into the racial stereotype of Rafi to do that. JL living up in your chateau, JL. Why ain't you calling?
Yeah,
Like, what the fuck?
yeah, I know. If she would have been friends with them, I mean, she would have naturally called him John Luke, or she would have called him Captain, because she served under him.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
she would have been competent. She's not competent in Picard.
no. And it seems like the actress is a good actress, and I know, God, probably deep down that lady has to be pissed off.
I would. I don't know. When you're an actor in Hollywood, okay, if you're an actor, just getting a paying gig is like a big deal. Like a paying gig on a TV show. Uh, I mean, I don't know what the financial circumstances are of her or the other actors, but I imagine. Okay, here's my conspiracy theory that you're reading scripts, you're auditioning, you're not getting parts, you're putting in all this work, you're not getting paid. You get a paid gig, 10 episodes on the show. You just crack open your piggy bank to buy, like, go down to the, well, here in California anyway, you can do this. I don't know what Ohio's like, but she goes down to like the gas station. There's those fucking 59-cent little mini bottles, one hitter quitters of vodka, off brand, you never heard of it. Scraping together your pennies, being an actor. It's like, fuck, you're just like trying to scrape together enough change to get a buzz while you're not getting paid. And then you get word that you're on this 10 episode series, possibly a steady paycheck. And it's like, fuck yeah. So that's what I imagine's happening.
No,
I could be wrong though.
I mean, look, there's a lot of them that take the craft seriously, and when they're written shitty, I mean, deep down they get pissed off. I'm sure. I mean, that would drive me absolutely nuts as a on-screen talent. If I've got crappy writing behind me, and I know it makes me look stupid, even though I'm a very competent actor, that would piss me off.
Absolutely. Well, wasn't there a leak with Anson Mount where they were trying to pitch him because it looked like Discovery was setting him up for his own series, and then the end of Such Sweet Sorrow Part Two. Oh, it's classified, and they spent the second half of the episode all on the Enterprise crew, and
Mm-hmm.
then Anson Mount was at a fan convention, and somebody asked him like, "Well, are you going to come back as Captain Pike?" And he's like, "We need to have creative conversations before that happens." So I think Anson Mount was kind of because his character was like murdered the same way that Rafi is. It was a really bad character. His character was not well written, and we'll give Anson Mount some credit for being a good actor. You could see elements of Pike in that, but he's like, yeah, we got to have creative conversations for me to come back. So yeah, I could see how. Yeah, I could see how an actor's like, yeah, this is making me look like a fool. I'm the face of this character, and you're making me look stupid. We gotta have creative conversations.
Well, sure, because remember, this is all going on these people's filmographies, dude.
Mm-hmm.
This is essentially their resume. So, anything you're putting on your resume, it better, at least have something, at least better look worth the crap. And I mean, yeah, it just there's a lot of people that take pride in their work. And it's gotta drive some of these actors and actresses crazy. But they don't say anything, obviously, because they know they won't have a job long if they say something.
Oh yeah, you cause trouble. Well, unless you're Brie Larson, apparently. But everyone else, if you cause trouble, it's like you're out. And so yeah, but man, can you imagine being Michelle Hurd and like only being typecast as a crackhead?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, like New Jack City 2 is going to come out and she's going to be in yeah. That crack, it be calling me. I can't stop.
Yeah,
Hey, my
I don't
sister's
know.
keeper, bam.
I don't know, man. I want this to like end in some coherent fashion. I do because I want to at least have some sort of inkling that there's there can be something decent to come out of it, but I don't think that there will. And the thing is, based on the writing that we have now, hi Mel, um, based on the writing we have now, I just don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
And if they tie it into Discovery, oh good God, man, it's doomed. It's just doomed.
We've already seen the seeds of that with the AI that
Oh
wants
yeah,
to be an AI that thinks it. Oh man.
they're gonna do something with control, and I don't know what they're gonna try to do. If they're gonna try to have the Borg all of a sudden be the good guys and fight control, that's gonna be that or what. So I have no idea. So, all right, I'll let you. I'll let you carry it again. I gotta step away for
All
just a
right.
minute.
Okay. Hey, folks, how we doing? Hey, Melanie. So, yeah, it's we're talking Star Trek Picard right now, and CBS All Access is giving away a free month towards the finale. Uh, so it's yeah, it's not good. Um, basically, the, even the showrunners were talking about tying Picard into Star Trek Discovery, and with the whole AI plot line, I think that's where it's going. And yeah, it's not good. It's not Star Trek. It's Star Trek has never really been dystopian. It certainly had some dark episodes, and they explored that, but for the most part, it was humanity overcoming, um, their nature and being explorers versus, uh, yeah, it's really bad what's happening with it. So we've got a Picard about 24 hours from now. Picard finale dropping, and we're just kind of speculating about what kind of a shit show that's going to be, and we don't think it's going to be a good. I don't think it's going to be good. Melanie says, "Have yet to see it, so I have no input." Well, Melanie, save yourself some trouble and don't watch it. Um, um, the other iterations of Star Trek, like the original Picard, or I'm sorry, Next Generation, because Next Generation is very good. I like Next Generation. That line has been given to me so many times. Well, it's yeah, it's bad. It's not a good show. Wouldn't recommend it.
Melanie, you can watch it for free.
Yeah, you can now.
If you go to CBS
Um,
All Access, you can type in the code gift,
gift.
GIFT. It's a gift, yeah. It's a gift I'd rather close. but but you can watch the finale for free and binge the whole thing. But you know the funny thing is you guys, some things that now that we all have extra time on our hands during our respective quarantining, um, there are some hidden gems out there. Now, if you like science fiction, which all of us do, you know, um, there's some really cool stuff that you can revisit or that you may have missed over the years. And
Mhm.
I got a few ideas like off the top of my head. If you want some cool stuff to binge, there was a show called Space Above and Beyond. This is like kind of a cult classic. Really good, really good sci-fi show there. um,
I'm having technical difficulties here. There we go.
Sounds like you got dinosaurs attacking you.
Uh, nope.
I was wondering if the T-Rex was coming. That's what it sounded like.
Nope.
But
Yeah, space and the Orville on Hulu and
oh yeah, the Orville's current. I'm just talking about some nice hidden gems from the past, like Terminator. The Sarah Connor Chronicles was very good, If you missed that, that's definitely worth watching. Summer Glau is awesome in that show. Um, oh God, what was another good one? There was what was the
Farscape.
one that? Yes, thank you, Wes. You were reading my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's really
Blake
fun.
Mikhail Wolf says Blake's Seven from the BBC. Okay, that's another cool one to check out. Hey, Mega Jetty, how you doing, buddy? Um,
Hail Mega.
yep, I had to mention that Mega Jetty because I actually like that show. I was pissed off that they didn't continue that show. I enjoyed Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. That was a good show. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Summer Glau, so it wasn't hard for me to like that show. But oh my god, yeah, I wish that would have continued. Um, there's also oh god, there was another good show, and I can't think of it off the top of my head, but you could always go back and watch the Starship Troopers movies too. Those were good. If you want some good sci-fi action, satire, and fun, those always deliver.
Yeah.
And
Had a great cast for what it was.
oh yeah, dude, Casper Van Dien is great. I,
Yeah.
I like him. I really do. Um, I just wish that you know modern Hollywood would take the sci-fi genre and respect it instead of drive it straight into the toilet. And that I have such disdain for them right now with what they've done with science fiction. And and personally, I have to give Seth MacFarlane all the credit in the world for at least recognizing that and treating the Orville with respect
Hmm.
and doing that show right.
Well,
And also the people that did The Expanse.
absolutely. Well, Seth MacFarlane came from outside the Hollywood studio system, so he had pretty much a normal upbringing, like most middle class people have, and so that's kind of where he has that love for it. As where if you look at J.J. Abrams, babysitting for Steven Spielberg, and that's how he got his connections. Maybe not the greatest talent in the world, but because it's who you know, not what you know. And so and then people came under him. And it's like a clone of a clone of a clone. You know, he was. I mean, that's what happens when you give the babysitter a franchise. I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, why? My thing is this is with Abrams coming from that tree, from the Spielberg tree.
Mm-hmm.
Why would he not, follow in that same sort of vein as Spielberg? Spielberg knew how to do big budget sci-fi the right way.
Yes. Well, that's a good question. And if you look at it, if you dig a little deeper into Abrams, Nicholas Meyer, who wrote Star Trek Two, directed Star Trek Two, wrote most of Star Trek Four, co-wrote Star Trek Six, and directed Star Trek Six. He also was a part of J.J. Abrams' youth and life, and that he would have been a resource for J.J. Abrams. Not just like you or I watching the DVD commentary and learning about filmmaking and his process in that way, but he literally could have picked up the phone and called J.J. Abrams, or J.J. Abrams literally could have picked up the phone and called Nicholas Meyer and gotten advice on filmmaking from like Nick Meyer. The
Mm-hmm.
writing aspect, if anything, in addition to the directing discipline from Spielberg. So this guy should be like the best filmmaker ever, and he's not. He's a hack.
Yeah, it's extremely disappointing.
Very.
I wanna take a moment and give my pal Megajetty some love because he's also in chat on his account TechCom and TechCom is his channel and I believe that he has everything you could want Terminator on that channel. He goes into the lore. He goes covers the changes in it, everything from top to bottom, and you know he's worked really hard on his TechCom stuff, and for anybody out there that enjoys Terminator, yeah, please check it out because he does a great job with it, and he's a buddy. I love Mega Jetty to death. He's very supportive of not only myself but bounding into comics and um, everything else. So yeah, please do show him some love and follow his stuff. And Michael Wolff keeps coming strong. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh
That's
yeah.
given. Any true sci-fi fan should know that one. Red Dwarf's another one.
Oh,
Nice.
love Red Dwarf. Yeah, that character is hilarious, especially in the earlier episodes. So I just gave the 89th sub to TechCom
Nice.
YouTube channel, so I
Go.
have subbed. Yes,
Yeah.
sub
Yeah.
TechCom.
Yeah. Mega Jetty TechCom says J.J. Abrams is a hack. He thinks flare lens special effects. The college he went to gives people an F if they use lens flare. Yeah,
Hmm.
and that's a
Oh
get.
yeah,
Oh,
V. Oh
B
yeah,
from the '80s. Yes, dude.
that was
Beastmaster,
freaky.
Mark Singer. Yeah, hell yeah. Um, the I'm just disappointed because yeah, you would think coming from that tree, that's like a lot of these coaches that get hired in the NFL from the Belichick tree. People
Yep.
expect them to be the second coming, and there's been plenty of coaches that failed, or even those that have come from the Bill Parcells tree. And that's what I'm saying. You would think that you would soak up that knowledge and you'd be really excellent at your craft, but man, yeah, Abrams fell so short. It's like, man, uh, it's disappointing, very disappointing.
Very.
I remember, I enjoyed B from the '80s. I
Yeah, like the where they peel off the skin and there are lizard people underneath.
I wish
So
I wish the reboot had gone better. Um, I was excited when they did that reboot, and then it really sort of left something to be desired. It fell really flat, and it wasn't particularly woke, but it just yeah, I just thought that it just fell really short. It wasn't the same, but I mean, the V from the '80s. That's where it had such a good cast. I mean, Michael Ironside. Yeah, it wasn't just Mark Singer. I mean, Michael Ironside and Robert Englund, and I mean, that's where Robert Englund got his start. He springboarded straight off of V and got Freddy
yeah.
Krueger.
Yeah, he was in that, wasn't he? Good
Yeah.
timed.
Well, yeah. That's where Robert Englund got noticed.
Oh yeah, since we're in that era, Buck Rogers, yeah, that was that was pretty fun.
Yeah, Michael Wolff says Firefly. Yeah, that's a given. Michael Wolff, everybody knows that one. Firefly, and and the there was also oh God, there was also Stargate SG-1 in Atlantis.
Hmm.
I used to watch those. God, I remember when the Sci-Fi Channel was actually good, and you had it had Firefly on, and then you had Stargate following, and then you had BSG. It was like it's like a big old Friday smorgasbord, man.
Yep.
Yeah, they had Firefly and SG-1 and Atlantis, and then of course the night would be capped off by an episode of BSG. It was great. Sci-Fi Fridays were great when the Sci-Fi Channel was actually good and still science fiction.
Yeah, what do they have now?
Oh God, they have terrible B movies, is what they have now.
Yep. Oh
That's
yeah,
exactly.
Sliders. That's a good one. Sliders.
Oh yeah, that's a hidden gem.
Yep.
Sliders.
Well, I mean, the first until they got into the the whatever those alien when they lost the professor, I think it kind of went downhill a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But well, I mean, it still has some entertainment value, but you can tell the production value was not as good when it's like the stories didn't make as much sense after that. I liked it better when they were going through alternate Earths and it was kind of similar but a little bit different. My own personal taste. Some people like the later storylines, but dude, I thought that was great. Oh, spoiler alert, folks. They go to a planet where Hillary Clinton is the president in the 90s. Ugh. Oh my god. Really dodged a bullet on that one. Thank God that didn't happen. I guess we're getting a little political here, but I tell you, nah, I'm not gonna say it. That would be too much of a. I already said it on my. I already made that joke on my own channel, so I won't. I won't repeat it here then, unless you want to hear it.
Oh sure, go ahead.
All right. I said, can you imagine if Hillary Clinton had been president during this crisis right now? I can imagine her giving like a Kodos the Executioner like speech where she kills half the population, and then she celebrates by going to a place to do some spirit cooking, um, because of all the death that she gets a high off of.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, I would either. Yep.
Oh man. Oh, you know what was hilariously funny? Unintentionally hilariously funny was Biden trying to do a speech discussing coronavirus, and he just stumbled and bumbled, and oh God,
Yeah,
man, it was
it
so
was
awful.
it was him trying to be a YouTuber, but still trying to be a politician. And also, did you notice the discoloration and the bump on the side of his head, like he took a tumble?
Oh God, man, I'm telling you, he's.
There's speculation. Yeah, one of the YouTubers that I'm following that's being censored right now, um, covered that, and they said it looked like an incision. And Joe Biden, believe it or not, folks, Joe Biden has had two brain surgeries already. He had a surgery for an aneurysm, I believe. So, yeah, and everybody was wondering where he disappeared to, and then he shows up with that weird, basement video, and he's got that bump on his head. It is. It's like Hillary Clinton all over again.
It's so bad.
Yep. Say what you will about Trump, that the dude was off banging porn stars, as a senior citizen, and he was trolling people on fucking Twitter. So I think that's actually pretty cool myself.
Yeah, he's winning when it comes to that.
Yep. Yeah.
Good God, man! I just, I find it. I just find it hilarious. Like I said, you know, the that these people want to nominate that man for any sort of leadership position. Period. I mean,
Yeah.
and
Well,
then really quick, guys. I wanted to address, by the way, and again, I'm more of a centrist, little bit right leaning person, but my God, how in any good conscience could anybody, after twice they had they voted down aid to the population, how could anybody vote Democrat after this? I really honestly would like to know,
yeah.
because I mean they just killed they killed both these bills for no other reason, and this would have helped people generally. Everybody would have gotten at least, $1,000, 1,500, couple $1,000, whatever it was, to at least to live on for the time being, just to offset some of the personal expenses with being out of work. And for them to have the audacity to kill that bill twice, all because they wanted to put crap like the Green New Deal and a bunch of garbage in there, you have to, if you're a responsible leader and you're a responsible, with getting the people back on their feet, and being the conduit of the people, you need to put partisan bullshit aside, and you
Yeah.
need to get that aid to the population as soon as possible. And for them to do that, I'm sorry, that's unforgivable.
I think I agree. So TechCom down there, screw Republicans and Democrats. They're both two opposing extremists. Vote independent. Well, TechCom, I did in fact vote third party in 16. I did not vote for Trump. And so the Libertarians, which is who I voted for last time, you have John McAfee and Vermin Supreme, I think, running this time. And John McAfee is known for being a drug addict that has hookers shit in his mouth. And
Good God.
and Vermin Supreme, well, that's self-explanatory. So yeah, you give me a good candidate, I'll vote for them. But I can't vote for either of those guys. So it's going to probably be Trump. Oh, sorry, that was it's on a documentary on Netflix. He went down to Belize, and they're like, and what did he have you do? Oh, he had me sit in a hammock, and he cut a hole out and had me shit in his mouth. Like hooker after hooker was saying this stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck?
Oh God, that's awful.
It is real bad.
Yep. No, man, I don't know. I know that as far from the standpoint of the Democrats doing anything to get themselves reelected or to get their candidate elected, yeah, they're they're definitely not getting the job done.
Yeah, they seem a bit out of touch,
Well, I'd
honestly.
say, and they didn't. They like I said, if you go and you screw over the greater population twice. You got people that desperately need money that are out of work and you know have all kind of issues right now with the crisis that's going on, and you sell the people down the river because you want to sit there and push your bullshit. It's like, yep, well, they pretty much cut their own throats twice with that.
Yeah, that and the impeachment. It's all a bunch of
Mhm.
crap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
they're in a bubble. They don't get it. But I mean, if you look at who's running the party right now, so here in California we have Governor Gavin Newsom, who is
yeah, I know. Your
Nancy
governor's a piece
Pelosi's
of work.
nephew. Yeah, Nancy Pelosi's nephew. They both come from a very wealthy, well-to-do family, and
Of course they did.
they've greatly enriched themselves through political office. And it's like these are the people that are supposed to be representatives of the party of the people.
Yeah.
I don't think so. They're mafia people. That's what they are.
Oh yeah. It's exactly. It's exactly it.
Yeah. But you have the NPCs that for whatever reason can't see that. And I mean, whatever you think about the Republicans, at least the Republicans are kind of for small business people. They want to make it a more business friendly climate. I'm a small business person. I'm biased. Sorry, folks, if you don't agree.
I do want to actually take a moment and discuss because I didn't, or I don't know if we're going to wind up running the story on bounding or not, but there was apparently, speaking, at the beginning of the stream, we were talking about people doing stupid stuff during this crisis, and it's not only politically, but some of the businesses that have stayed open, and again, I understand, you know, wanting to stay in business if you genuinely um, want to help. Nobody wants to close their doors, but also if you genuinely want to help, I get that. But I had to laugh at the feeble attempt of GameStop defying defying like actual orders by states and the federal government, all because they said at the beginning that they were essential retail, and they
Huh.
were trying to stay open under that premise. And the funniest thing about GameStop trying to stay open was apparently they justified it because they sold peripherals for computers. And so people working from home needed peripherals. But sure, the average person working from their home office needs a Razer mouse and keyboard. It's like, come
Right. Hmm.
on. You know, and then when they did stay open, they they um, they weren't taking any precautions to safeguard their employees whatsoever. And it was like, my goodness, what are you doing here? And and um and they went ahead apparently during the launch of Animal Crossing and what was the other game? I think Doom launched. uh they were a day or so apart, and they were allowing people to line up outside the store and go in. Well, they were only letting 10 people at a time in the store, but people that were lined up outside were still like, neck to neck. And it's like, my God, what are you doing? And it's just, you want to talk about people bumbling through something. GameStop bumbled through during this whole thing in order to, make money. They had no idea what they were doing, and finally, they got the screws put to them because they had to, no choice but to close because their law enforcement showed up at one of the Pennsylvania locations and one of the Georgia locations and told them, shut it down.
Mhm.
So after that, they pretty much, finally changed their policy because they got roasted all over Twitter and they got roasted on God, I don't know how many sites by journalists just roasted the hell out of them, and rightly so because that was stupid. They were not equipped to try and stay open.
No. Yep.
They weren't even getting their employees adequate cleaning supplies in the stores during this thing. So, you know, even if the stores wanted to comply with the state requirements that most states have for sanitizing everything, cleaning everything, wiping everything down at least once an hour, the things like that, they couldn't do it. So they were having management actually go and comp stuff out of petty cash to get stuff for their own store, or they were just telling people to bring stuff from home. Like, are you serious? They can't get your employees the stuff that they need. If you that should be, sign number one. Like, oh, we probably shouldn't stay open. We're not equipped.
Yeah.
But I find it funny that GameStop thought that they were essential retail during this time. And it's like, hey, look, I'm a gamer. And in the past, over the years, I've supported GameStop. Obviously, when I started playing more on the computer, I quit. I didn't have a need to go to GameStop. I just got my stuff on Steam. But it's like, there's a lot of people that still patronize GameStop, console gamers especially, because there's a lot of people that enjoy physical media, and physical media is a good thing. Let's be honest, because if you have a failure with a file when you download something, or everything else, you've got, if you have physical media, you can do a reinstall and know everything's fine. Or you can, you're always backed up one way or the other. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's something to be said in that argument. But, other than that, GameStop, man, they're a dinosaur now.
Oh, yeah.
And you've got all these different platforms where you can buy your games online and download them. So you don't need GameStop anymore at all. So, yeah.
I think Superman was the best thing that happened for advertising for GameStop. Honestly. It's ma'am.
Oh, God.
It is ma'am.
Yeah. That's a classic that'll never die.
Yep. I think I made a recent meme out of that one too, I believe. Yeah, for the Marvel's new heroes, I photoshopped them and I said misgender. Yeah, that's what it was. That was going to be the superhero, misgender.
Speaking of industries going in the toilet, man, Marvel, with that stuff, I don't know how they took it seriously. Are you serious?
Warriors?
Doubled down on that.
Oh, man. So they should be paying attention to the down voting and things that are happening on the announcement. What's really sad is that the creator of the new Warriors, he seemed really proud of his work, and he seemed to be trying to explain the characters that he created. And he's like really proud of it, and it's like, wow, you are really out of touch. Really out of touch. Like screen time, do Generation Zers really even like know what that means? That term, is that even a thing?
Oh, again, we got away from it's the same thing in comics. We got away from the fact that you know, hey, look, a reader or a viewer does not care about what's between their legs or who the character's sleeping with. They don't want that. They want to see the character in action, defending people that can't defend themselves, being a hero or a heroine.
You know,
They don't want to see all this nonsense, and they don't care about all this nonsense, and that's the thing.
yeah. I mean, and all of the stuff they allege that they're really breaking ground on. I mean, all that stuff has already been done before and much better than what they're doing.
Well, it has, and they've like they've gone and appropriated it and everything else, and they oh god, dude, it just it makes me pissed off.
Oh yeah, it should. I mean, it's ridiculous.
There
It's
was
it's hilarious, but it's also ridiculous. I mean, the what is it? The gender non-binary snowflake and safe space.
yeah.
But internet gas. I made a really funny meme on that too.
Yeah,
I sh-
Jeff, I was going to say, oh, Mike, Mikhail Wolf, good night, man.
Good night,
Take
Mikhail
care of
Wolf.
yourself as well.
Thanks for hanging out.
Um, Jetty says, I'm considering forgetting GameStop despite having a card for them and just get hard copies from Walmart or Amazon. I mean, honestly,
Go to a thrift store.
if you have a need for physical media, Jetty, all I could say is, yeah, I mean, you can usually find a hard copy at Walmart depending on the game. And if not, you just get it off of Amazon. It's not a big deal. I mean, GameStop's going to go in the shitter one way or the other, because there's no possible way, unless they physically close their brick and mortars, that they're going to compete in this gaming age. I mean, it's just impossible. Gaming has gone the way of digital download. It's not going to turn back, and that's the way it's going to be. So,
Yep.
and nobody needs the trade business. I mean, heck, you got services now like, for example, if you have Origin with EA, if you get the Origin Access Premier, so if you pay the 15 a month, get Origin Premier, well, guess what? You can just go and download what you want, and you own it for as long as you want. It's like leasing a game. You just lease it as long as you like. And then, when you're done with it, you just uninstall it.
Yep.
And that's what I'm saying. People are going that route. There's just not a need for GameStop anymore, and they have such shitty practices toward their employees. It's a wonder anybody wants to work for that company.
Oh yeah. I mean, there was some value in the refurbishing of like consoles they used to do. You could pick up a refurb console for much less than retail, but they started charging like almost as much for a refurb as you could get like a new console for. So, what's the point? You go to like a thrift store and pick something like that up for 19.99. What they want like $100 for.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And a lot of YouTube channels have been doing. They've been buying the consoles that have been refurbished by GameStop and cracking them open and looking at what was refurbished, and they're finding, not a lot's been done, or it's been replaced with substandard parts.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's just like, yeah, fuck GameStop.
Yeah. As far as the stuff with Marvel and DC, though, the comics industry is just down the crapper. And my boss published my story. I believe it was a few days ago about my experiences at the Cleveland Comic-Con. And I was walking around talking to the creators there, and they pretty much all agreed that Marvel and DC were out of touch, and that was just the way that it was, and that's why you see the rise of the independents. That's why everybody is supporting independent projects now. That's why Comicsgate's so successful. That's why War Campaign's successful. It's because we have an outlet, and and the thing is like I said, I talked to like the legendary artist Jim Steranko that did a ton of stuff for Marvel. He looked me dead in the eye and he said, kid, comics just ain't the same. and he's dead on right. And that's just how it is. And sadly, especially with what Marvel just did with this woke nonsense, it's not going to go anywhere. There is a way to write a compelling character. You can write, it doesn't matter if they're male, they're female, gay, straight, whatever. And you can even have romantic interactions in the book with the character, sure. But you don't have to base their entire identity on sexuality. You base it on the character, their trials, their tribulations, their family life, what obstacles they had to conquer. Things like that.
Yep.
Man, it's like
it's very shallow. It's a very shallow take on the character to say that's going to be their characteristic. Well, I mean, God, like that the New Warriors is a prime example. I mean, for an egregious example of safe space and fucking snowflake, you're like, what?
Oh, sure.
It's
exactly.
a very, very vocal minority of people that espouse those types of viewpoints and hold that ideology. They're really out of touch and stupid, in my opinion.
No, it really is.
And yeah, that's what made the X-Men shine so much, was that it was about the journey of like a Rogue or, a Wolverine, Wolverine's backstory and Rogue and Jean Grey, all that stuff. It was, they came from basically normal families. Well, a lot of them, yeah, and basically they were outcasts. Their own family cast them out. They're trying to make their way in the world, and they come across, Professor X and, his school, and they kind of recreate a family there. And but they're still defined by being, from Louisiana or wherever, Canada or wherever they're from. And it was so good. And this stuff, it's like, safe space.
No, it was awesome because you had all kind of, You had all kind of different teams spring up. You had Alpha Flight that came from Canada. You had, you know, the West Coast Avengers. You know, you had all these teams like sprout up. You had, everybody had an identity still. Things like that. And oh man, identity politics has just ruined so many good things. It's just such garbage. And I understand Jetty's comment there. I still like the Marvel and DC universe and heroes, despite them being run by bad people. Sure, they could still be great, Jetty, but the problem is, at their core, what Marvel and DC are doing is they hire these people. They're hiring SJWs, and they're hiring people that have no business near comic books. When you're hiring people like Zoe fucking Quinn to do
Yeah.
to do a comic book when she clearly that's not her vocation, nor does she have experience. Why are you hiring the woman other than to check a box and say, oh, is social justice hire here, diversity hire here? I mean, come on. That's why is
Well,
there are people like Anita Sarkeesian, like giving consults on to comic book companies and things like that. I mean, come on. Again,
even get into like Zoe Quinn's really true past with that's just we haven't even touched on that. But yeah,
oh,
it's
dude,
really
I'm not
problematic.
going to talk about that broad because she just disgusts me. But I will just say this. She's a no talent hack who hoard her way up the ladder and happened to cash in on the heels of a movement when she saw a loophole to do so.
Yep.
Then that's
That truly
exactly
is
it.
the kindest thing anybody really.
I
Like
mean, she's a terrible
that's can say about her.
she's a terrible human being. It's what happened when her and her minions drove that guy to suicide. No, that's just. I mean, it's crazy.
Yep. And
And
she's off playing the victim.
of course,
Yep.
yeah. But these are the type of people that these companies are hiring. They're hiring people like them or people that have the same mindset as them, and their focus is not on comics; it's on garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And until they get that back, we're going to be stuck with this kind of thing. They're going to be screwing up the beloved and established characters and coming up with really crappy originals. So you're not winning in either sense.
Yep.
Sadly. Yeah, that's exactly it, Jetty. And you know the stories. I don't have to elaborate. She's a very bad human being.
Very bad.
Yep, exactly. And I just I feel for the gentleman's
She'll
family.
me too. It'll come around eventually. I mean, that's the way it works. When you're toxic and you're a bad person like that, eventually people find you out, and eventually it'll come around.
She's had a lot of people
And
that have actually exposed her, but the problem is,
yeah,
like, she has so many white knight protectors. She has a ton of minions, and she literally has these people so whipped into a frenzy that they go and they'll try and destroy people for her out of devotion to her. So she's got people that um, Like I remember the stuff that that umbrella guy was going through. Uh,
Oh yeah.
she did it to Nerdette, um, from Nerdette's newsstand. There's a ton of people, and it's all like the Zoe Quinn followers that they're very sick. I mean, and these people are sick. They're the type
Yeah.
that'll dox you, that'll go after you know your family, things like that.
Hmm.
They're
Like,
very bitter, nasty people.
yeah, you're talking about Renfamous, right? Oh
Hmm.
wait, was I not supposed to say that?
No, go right ahead. I
Oh,
got look.
so
I got
oh,
no.
okay.
I mean, if somebody, I'll put it this way, Wes. So, what's somebody gonna do? Get me fired from bounding into comics? What are they gonna do? Because they sure as hell ain't gonna walk in my door. Because they do that. You walk in my door asking to get in an altercation. You're gonna get into something that you don't want.
Well, that chick is creepy as fuck. You watch. I went through after what happened to that umbrella guy. And I was somebody thankfully had screenshotted a bunch of what was happening, and I was just like, what the fuck, man? Who does that? Who goes after somebody's family in the way that this person is going after that for one. I mean, really, I mean, criticism happens, okay, and you criticize on the merit. I think it's relatively understood that family and going after someone personally that's pretty much reserved for someone really really bad person. Um, and what she did was just disgusting.
Hmm.
And really, it's man. I guess she was in the political world as a political operative, Renfamous, and those dirty tricks are kind of in her wheelhouse. But man, that was gross. That was fucking gross. What
Yep.
happened to that umbrella guy? Made me want to puke my guts out. I remember watching that unfold. Yeah, I was really upset by it. I'm
Yeah,
surprised
man.
she's still on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Now, sadly, those people are more preferred and protected by Twitter than people that actually, try to tell the truth or, you know, actually care about others, which is sad.
Very sad. And you notice that people like Renfamous, a lot of their posts, and you go look at the people working at like Lucasfilm or that Ray Carson that did the novelization for the Rise of Skywalker. It's almost like the profile has been cloned. Like these people are all very much in a bubble and very self righteous and what's that term? They get high off the smell in their own farts. I think
Oh
is
yeah.
the phrase for that. And they claim to be very tolerant, but you ask questions about the premises of their arguments or their philosophy, and you get fucking blocked, or you get ridiculed, but or personally attacked. But there's never a dialogue happening, and you know if your argument is okay, so I take a couple of stances here on engaging in this political discourse or social discourse, whatever it is, and that is that I want to have my ideas challenged, and if the strength of my ideas is strong enough, and I can defend them, then I can take comfort in the fact that I was right. But if I was wrong, I don't want to look like a moron, and I want to have, and I will change my opinion accordingly. And these fucking people don't seem to get it.
No, I'm the first person, and especially with what I do for a living, with being a journalist now, if I don't have facts straight, or if I have an opinion that isn't supported by facts and I'm wrong, I'll come out and say, hey, look, I made a mistake here. I'm wrong. I will absolutely 100% own it when it immediately comes to my attention. But see, I grew up in the with understanding that you know if you make a mistake, you own it.
Oh yeah, well that's the only way you learn and get ahead. But these
If you
people
make a
are,
mistake, you own it. If you if you report something erroneously, or you give an opinion that you think is based in fact and the facts are wrong, then you own it. That's all you have to do. But these people don't even do that. They won't. They'll bald face lie and double down.
yep. Yeah, it's something else. Well, I mean, and again, if you really dig deep into those people, most of them haven't had a middle class upbringing. They've had an upper class upbringing, and so they're in a bubble. They're totally deluded. They're insular. They haven't had exposure to, the very diversity that they claim to be proponents of. If they'd grown up in a middle class environment, they would know that that's not a big deal. It's just everyday life. Quit getting high off your own farts, you fucking idiots.
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, to kind of catch you up on the story, Megajetty, with I know in the case of Nerdette, she had done some stuff about Zoe Quinn, looking into Zoe Quinn and things like that. And she was kind of exposing Zoe Quinn for what she was. And then Zoe Quinn's minions, White Knighters, and everything else, they went after Nerdette, Minister, Doxter, um, went after her personally, made death threats, all kind of things, and basically drove her off Twitter for a while, for a very long while. I don't know that she's actually back on Twitter. No, actually, she's not. Um, it took her forever to even come back to her YouTube channel, which she's been active on again now. But what I heard was she doesn't directly deal with it. She does everything, she has somebody else handling it right now, and she just puts all the relevant data or videos on a thumb drive and has somebody upload it to her account because, or do the editing and stuff because, yeah, people were legitimately threatening her and everything else, and threatening her family.
Yep. Yeah, they do that. I've been the recipient of that kind of activity before, so believe me, I'm very sympathetic to it. But that's hey, if we can take that, they can take a little criticism of their properties and their product. That's the way it is. You and I, I mean, you're a journalist and a YouTuber, and I'm a YouTuber here. I mean, we get criticism all the time, dude. You and me, we get
Oh yeah,
criticism all the time. You
absolutely,
know, and
absolutely.
that's yeah, and we know it's part of the gig. That's what it is. It's part of the gig. And if you're making, and I mean, I'm not making any money on this deal on YouTubing.
No,
So they're making millions and millions of dollars. A lot of these people are, or, they're making a good living. If they're not making millions of dollars, if they're a writer, they're making a good living, above a six-figure salary. And so you can take a little bit of criticism. All right. You can take it, or you could ignore it, or you can learn how to ignore it. I mean, but don't attack the fans.
No, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Well, I think on that note, because it's like actually 3 minutes to 5 here where I live,
Oh,
and
wow.
I know over there it's a few minutes over till 2, so we'll go ahead and wrap this up. I want to thank everybody that came out tonight and hung out with Wes and I, and enjoyed our riffing on different subjects. And we always love streaming for you guys, and nothing brings out the best in two gentlemen like a strong collaboration. And my hats off to Wes for spending his time in doing that with me. So you folks have a great night, and take care of yourselves and each other, especially during this time. We're all going to get through this together. So just use your common sense, follow the guidelines, and we'll get where we need to be.
It'll be okay, folks. Just do what just use common sense.
That's exactly it. All right, Wes, you want to plug anything before we head out?
For those of you, if you've not subscribed, you can find me at youtube.com/Wes Moody Webcast, where I talk about pop culture, current events, occasional conspiracy theories, occasional car talk, and I will vlog about whatever the heck I want to because it's my webcast. So feel free to subscribe over there if you want to check out more content from me.
All right. And you guys know you can catch me on boutingintocomics.com. You'll find me there. I'm pretty much the only Drew on the staff, so you can find my stories very easily. And also on this channel, don't forget every Thursday to watch the Pegasus Actual podcast, where myself and my awesome panel, Script Doctor Raquel, Stephen Walton, and Bear Nerd Fun, and Brian the Grave Digger, we all break down Ron Moore's Battlestar Galactica. And make sure you tune in this Thursday because we are into the end of season 1. So it's a season finale, Cobalt's Last Gleaming, and my God, those are 2 great episodes. So we'll be doing Cobalt's Last Gleaming Part 1 coming up on this Thursday, so a day from now. So make sure you catch it. So, all right, you guys take care, have a good night, and we'll see you soon.
Right, see ya.